What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream here on Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. Big day in the markets. Fed Powell just finished speaking a little while ago. We'll get into it. It's consequential. It's always consequential when Jerome Powell speaks and the Fed makes a decision on rate cuts. We got a base case outcome today. So we'll talk about what it means. Markets have reacted. The Bitcoin has reacted favorably. We'll talk about why that is. We're a little green right now. Talk about alt season. When is it coming? When is alt season freaking coming? All right, I'll give you my updated thoughts on that. I am confident that it's indeed coming. It's just a little delayed. We'll talk about why that is and when possibly we can expect things to turn around for our altcoins. A lot of things are on sale right now, man. A lot of things are beaten down. One of them is Mint Layer. I see Sam here asking about a price target. I'll get into price action on Mint Layer later. I will star this. But a lot of things are down. And, if your thesis is that we will indeed get an alt season, then these are opportunities. The problem is we're out of money. Right? A lot of us are just broke. When you've been accumulating and prices stay down or go down, it's painful. It's not easy. It wears on you psychologically, but that's what this game is. This is psychological warfare. This is, it's all psychological. So you got to be mentally prepared for it. And that's part of what we talk about and what we do over here. So we're going to get into it, talk about a lot of alts that are on sale, talk about Metacade beaten down. Devi's not beaten down. Devi's actually very strong. When we talk about some Devi and get into it. So as always, light up the chat. Let me see who's here before I get started. We got Russ G. Make it stop, Danny. Let's have some green candles for a few months, please. I do think that zoom out a few months and you will have big green candles. It's just that those few months are going to feel like years, right? Because that's how this space works. But, think back 3 months ago and where the sentiment is now in the overall space versus where it was 3 months ago. So it's now we're approaching February. Think back to November and how we felt heading into the election and that pump we got on election night. And think about the sentiment for this overall crypto market, which is low, I would say. Sentiment is waning, but Bitcoin's at $104,000. All right, so think about that. And now fast forward to where we could possibly be in 3 months. You're talking about a whole different ball game because when the market moves, it moves violently, right? And so we remember that and stay focused, eyes on the prize, formulate your thesis. Is Bitcoin continuing a move up? Is the macro bull run still on? If the answer to those questions are yes, then I believe we're getting an alt season. I think it's going to be a big one. All right. So just a matter of waiting, which is the hard part. And they will grind you down and extract your money in the meantime. And if you don't have the patience for it, you'll lose. Mark Myers. Yeah, I'm going to get to that Mint Layer stuff a little while. Cash Games in the house. Let's go. Base Labs in the house. B-Dubs in the house. My Crypto, not yours. What's good? Timo. Patrick, what's good, brother? Hans or Haynes? I'm not sure. Powell needs to lower rates in March. I'm sure Trump will manage to get inflation down by then. Do you think QE is coming in March? I don't. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it all. We got OG Vault in the house. What's good? Yeah, we'll talk about MK, but let's get into the crux and the heart of the issue, and that is today, Jerome Powell. All right, and the market reacted overall favorably. I do think it was oversold heading into it. I think the market sold off heading into today's event, and more people, I think, were expecting more pain if he didn't signal the end of QT, which is quantitative tightening, right? That's the opposite of money printing. I think people were expecting a bloodbath in alts, but I think we got the bloodbath beforehand, right? I think that's what happened. We bled going into this. And I do think, we'll stay range bound, which is what we've been in. And, all eyes are on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is still in its range that it's been in for about 2 months now, right? Starting in, I would say, December, we corrected, we broke all-time highs, and have been in this range. And 102 has been strong. We've held strong. You look at, NVIDIA was down 16% the other day on that DeepSeek freakout, which was completely overblown. The stock market overreacting to DeepSeek. I'll give my thoughts on that later. Bitcoin held up over 100K. It dipped to like 99 briefly, but it held strong, and it's been holding strong here, which is good. So it's building out strong support here, which you want to see for long-term success. Today, we'll talk about what Powell said. So basically, they held, which was everyone expected. No surprise there. No rate cuts, but no rate hikes. It was a hold on interest rates, which I think there was 100% expectation on that. All right, so that came through. What everyone was looking for was QT cutting. Now, Canada is cutting QT. They announced that, and they'll be shifting. I'm not sure if they're starting QE, quantitative easing, but they are cutting QT, which may be a signal for, that it's coming soon, but it's not coming yet. And Jerome Powell said that when asked about QT, he said the Federal Reserve's balance sheet is abundant. They will not be heading into QT just yet. So the question is when. And if you look at the expectation on Wall Street is for QT to end mid-year. All right. So, June. The next meeting is in March. And, I don't think that we're going to get the end of QT then, but maybe there's a signal of, that a shift is coming. And then maybe that really hyper kickstarts the market. We are up regardless, right? All markets are up, and this is a function of M2 money supply, right? We're hyper focused on QE because that's, money printers turn on and all that. But what's driven the market is the M2 money supply continuing to increase. And this is over the last year. And the M2 money supply, just by definition, is basically all cash in, checking deposits, all cash on hand. It's basically the total money supply. All right. And if you look at global money supply, it's been straight and to the right for the last year, up about 10%, right? And you see that reflected in the markets. If you look over history at the stock market and M2, there is a strong correlation. It's just basically the stock market keeping up with the money supply. And if you look at, here's the 10, you see this sharp increase in money supply during the COVID years, and that, big boom in markets that we saw. So we're not quite at this big incline yet. And the expectation is that once we get to QE, right, this is going to accelerate. And that's when those high risk, that's when there's a signal to the market that high risk assets are now going to, go nuts. It's very much about the signal. And so, we have to wait. There were a couple of schools of thought on markets, and that is on the crypto market in particular. And that is that it's totally cyclical in nature year after halving. We got our alt season. The other school of thought is that it follows, that alt season coincides with QE, and money printing. And so, I do believe we're going to get our alt season. I do believe we're going to get QE. It's just a matter of when. And I think Raoul Paul expresses this well. All right. And this was something he wrote about, what the banana singularity, right? We've all heard about the banana zone. That's when things go up, right, in a sharp line up. And I'll read this. He says, taking all of our works into consideration, we believe 2025 will be another good year for risk assets, and that we're still early days in the banana zone, which officially kicked off last year with global M2 breaking higher. We're going to echo what we've said in the past. 20-30% corrections are completely normal. Expect them, embrace them, and if you're in a position to do so, use them as opportunities to add and then move on. And he says that here it is. Next step, the banana singularity. Phase 2 of the banana zone just completed. The correction in Q1 should be very strong indeed. Remember, the Treasury will draw down the TGA while the debt ceiling is in play, and we will drain the reverse repo. So he's talking about the balance sheet. The Fed's balance sheet is going to go lower, likely leading to an end of QT, okay? And that's the key thing. So it's about draining the Fed's balance sheet, which Jerome Powell said today was still abundant. He said once they're ample, that they will reassess and shift policy, okay? And when that happens, we move on from QT into QE. Expectation right now is that that will happen mid-year. So we'll see how it develops, but we still got plenty of time in this market, in this macro environment, and my expectation has not changed. Sometimes the thesis is correct and the timeline is off, and so everyone's expectations were baked in that we were going to get alt season, January, February, maybe it comes a little later, but considering the macro environment and the fact that M2 money supply is up and to the right, and the fact that eventually, sooner rather than later, QT will come to an end, and then that will signal, fireworks. And we know that the biggest gains in this space come in the shortest amount of time. So you don't need a year of alt season. You need 12 weeks, right? That's historically how it's worked, right? And you go back December 2023 to March of 2024, when there were a lot of fireworks in this space, it was effectively 12 to 13 weeks when we saw 100x gains, okay? If you go back to the last cycle, this is, well, that's not, here it is. All right, this is when things really kicked off. And it kicked off it started ramping up in January, but it really kicked off in March, right, when we got above the 75 on the alt season index. And it lasted from March through June. So what's that? March, April, May, June, 12 weeks. Okay, so the biggest amount of gains are made in the shortest amount of time, and there's still plenty of time in this cycle. So there shouldn't be anyone freaking out. You're going to have big pullbacks. A lot of them are going to be overblown. What we saw this week with the deepseek freakout was an overblown reaction to what is a long-term bullish situation. And that is, if true, right? Because you don't know if it's true. It's not proven that DeepSeek created effectively a chat GPT without a fraction of the cost, using a fraction of the chips. But if true, then that is a breakthrough and accelerates the technology, which isn't going anywhere. It's just ramping up, and there will be a need for chips, right? And so if anything, that's a long-term bullish outcome. It's just that people freaked out over it. And it's, a lot of the freak out is to shake you out of your bags. And, Marty Party This is a weird name, has been talking a lot lately about Binance flushing people out. And what's interesting is that Binance was still is, I guess, under investigation and brought. If you read like the SEC's under Gary Gensler, their accusations, it was all about market manipulation and Binance controlling the market, right? And Marty Party's been highlighting that recently and talking about Binance flushing ETH and Bitcoin on FOMC neutral news. So when the market was dumping, he was saying that it was Binance doing it through their market maker to scare the market and liquidate longs. Don't be shaken out. Nobody is selling digital assets except exchanges buy their discounts. And so that's the thing. Don't be shaken out. Nobody is selling digital assets. We're at a point in this world, in the evolution of this technology where now Elon Musk is talking about putting Doge on the blockchain. You've got X setting up their financial system with Visa, likely to eventually include crypto payments in there. You've got rumors of NASDAQ teaming with Devi, right? And that's why Devi has been going nuts. And if you read NASDAQ's, let me find it. If you read NASDAQ's quarterly earnings report, here it is. Fintech here we go. All right. Financial technology operational highlights. Market Technology signed 2 crypto marketplaces for its trading solution and 1 crypto marketplace for surveillance. So you've got all of these traditional finance, institutions that are slowly coming around to the technology now that we're on the cusp of regulatory clarity, right? And all these bullish things that are playing out, and people think that they've already played out because Trump announced, the executive order and, all the things that were announced last week, and now people are waiting for what's next. There's a lot next, right? You still have a regulatory framework to be created. You still have Bitcoin likely to be added to the balance sheet. You've got likely, here you got Robinhood calls on the SEC to update investor rules and allow equity tokenization for startups. Okay. We're talking about real world assets being brought on chain. These are all incredibly bullish scenarios that are going to take time to play out with a macro bull run in effect, right? And the NASDAQ and S&P have shaken off a lot of their losses that they incurred after the DeepSeek freakout. You've got Trump's World Liberty Financial just bought another $10 million worth of ETH on chain. All right, so you've got the President of the United States with his own company, his family's company, buying a shit ton of crypto, Ethereum, that people have written off for dead. And when ETH pumps, it's going to pump. And it's going to bring alts up with it. All right, it's going to happen. A lot of people are, they've gotten frustrated, they've grown bored, they've gotten anxious about it. I'd be shocked if ETH doesn't make a new all-time high. It's going to happen, right? And when that happens, what's going to happen to alts? And yesterday, Ron was live on stream, and he mentioned how, things, so many of coins are paired with ETH in their liquidity pool, and ETH pumping alone will bring the valuations up, and you add on to that a risk-on environment. That's your alt season, your rotation from the big caps to the small caps. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and not getting shaken out. Here's Crypto RS retweeting a publicly traded, I never heard of this company, Nuve adopts Bitcoin for its treasury and payments. You're going to see more companies now that now that we're in a more friendly environment. You're going to see more companies start to add it to the balance sheet. And why did the market go up today with a neutral stance on crypto? It's because Jerome Powell said, when asked about crypto, that banks can serve can serve crypto customers, right? Which aligns with the reversal of SAB 141, which says that banks, which is basically getting rid of the law, the regulation that stated that banks had to count Bitcoin as a liability against their balance sheet, which prohibited them, made it too risky for them to custody Bitcoin. But now that's reversed. Fed Powell says that banks can serve crypto to their customers. And you saw Bitcoin react favorably as a result, went up from 102 to 104. And so I think we continue to range until there's some more news maybe that pushes the needle. I think Ethereum will continue its year-long range. It's been wild. You know, we're going back to, all right, so you look at ETH on, let's look at the last year. It broke out in February of last year. All right, so it started February in the low, it ended January at 2,200, and it shot up to 3,800. This was in that little alt season that we got at the end of last year. This was ahead of the ETH ETF news, and we've just been ranging for a long, long time, right? But the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout. We saw Bitcoin range for 8 months. It felt like forever. But this range right here, 8 months on Bitcoin, breakout, and it's just a matter of time until ETH does the same. And when it does, you know, you're looking at a $5,000 ETH. And then you're looking at alts doing very well. So again, you know, it's just a matter of time. And those are my thoughts. Let's get back into the chat. And I'll get into some of your comments. Timo, we know it will climb up again tomorrow. Russ has an announcement or update. Oh, this is regarding Metacade, and I'll get into MintLayer. I don't know if there's an announcement tomorrow. I don't think so, to be honest. Metacade had a sell-off. It lost its support. I wasn't surprised by this because it was going to go either way. I mean, it was at 2.5 cents. It was hanging on, and the market's been dumping, right? Alts have been punished, and it's been hanging on and actually outperforming most of alts. I wasn't shocked to once it lost the 2.5, the 2.5 cents, you know, it's going to come back down to test here, right? Which is what it's doing now, right? And so you want to see it hold and, you know, flip it to support around here. Not surprised. But now people have an entry point into Metacade if that's something that you believe in and you feel like you missed it when it went up. Because when Metacade went up, and I want you to remember what it feels like when something goes up to, when Metacade went up to 5 cents, what did that feel like? You know, a lot of people will say, myself included, when something is up like that, you know, it went up 10x from the bottom of half a penny and 5x from where it was, which was about a penny, did a 5x very, very quickly. This we're talking about. I was in Miami when this happened. You know, a couple days. Yeah. Within a week, it did a 5x. If you tell yourself, I wish I bought more at that point, then when the market dumps, if you have the conviction that this is something that's going to pump hard, then that's the time to have more and to add more. We're given these opportunities by the market, right? It's a matter of taking it and taking advantage of it. And I've been adding. I've added this week to a few different things. And I have a ton of Metacade, and I might add more Metacade, even though I have a bunch. But, you know, it's going to come back up. They recently... I think this was today. They have their rebrand. All right. So they partnered with, I guess, like a marketing team on an overhaul. And they're always tinkering. They're always doing things. So they have a cleaner look now. New look, new levels, new era. You know, this is what you want to see out of a project, is just constantly improving and moving forward. All right, this is part of their marketing strategy. They are going to ramp up, I'm sure, what their AI agents can do. This is their agentic report, blockchain, AI, and gaming. So they're on top of everything, which is why they've performed the way they have, while other gaming projects have not. And they have a really strong community, great leadership. So I'm not worried or freaked out by the price going down, because that's a function of the market and the result of a market, right? So you have to ask yourself, when things go down, is it because of the market, or is it because of something fundamentally wrong? And everything's been, alts have been, small alts particularly have been punished. Okay, and that includes Mint Layer has been absolutely decimated and punished. And it kind of coincides with Tectum. If you look at Tectum, they're both oversold. This is Mint Layer on the month, down 50%. And, you know, you kind of knew this was coming when it lost 10 cents. Anytime something loses a support level that it's held for a while and it was down, it was already beaten down. And Tectum did the same. Tectum lost $4 and it went all the way down to $3, which is another 25% drop. Watch your assets when they're at support and they're banging on support again. All right. And they do it over this was on support for a long time. You're talking about, you know, months, 6 months for Mint Layer and for other things. And many of them have lost support because people get shaken out. They get tired. They get fatigued. They rotate. And that's how you kind of get killed in this game, is when you over rotate. And I've done it. That's a mistake that I make. And I've made in the past, is over rotating, getting tired and bored because, you know, it's not working out according to your timeline, and there's a lot of pain, and then the price is forming the narrative, right? And so when Mint Layer is 5 cents, it's a freak out, and people are like, well, it's because they don't have marketing. It's because, you know, whatever. It's because Atomic Swaps isn't here. When Tectum breaks down below $4, you know, it's the bear narrative takes hold. Oftentimes, narrative follows price. And what happens if the price goes up and doubles, a violent move up? People are going to now remember, oh, Mint Layer's got they solve privacy issues. They scale Bitcoin. They open the doors to DeFi on Bitcoin, RWA. And now they remember the bull case scenario, which is why they bought it, right? And so a lot of it is psychological, and it's a freaking grind, right? It's not easy. Anyone who says this is easy is wrong. It's not easy. So I don't have a price target on Mint Layer, so that going back to that question. But give me a second. Let me remove my screen. Let me pull up my spreadsheet, and I'll tell you what I would like for Mint Layer to get to answer that first question that was there. And then I'll move on. All right. So, I mean, Mint Layer got to $1 earlier in the year. That's now 20x from where it is right now. I would expect it to regain an all-time high. Like, I wouldn't hold it if I didn't think it could get past its all-time high from a year ago. Right? So I think $3 is what I would like to see it do, which is almost 100x from here. It's kind of wild. But we'll see. You don't know how these things are going to play out. And anyone who puts a price prediction on a small cap like this, take it with a grain of salt. No one knows. They're so volatile. And sometimes they'll, completely overshoot what you expected, and sometimes it won't play out. That's why if you stay diversified and you place your bets, and then all you need is like one winner. If you have decent sized bags in different small alts, if you get one winner and then the rest, 10x, 5x, whatever it is, do the math. That's all it takes is one big winner. And so, for my infrastructure plays, it was Mint Layer, it was Tectum, it was Devi. Devi's looking like a winner right now. Mint Layer still has time to be a winner, as does Tectum, although I sold some of my Tectum into Devi. But, is this something that could hit $1 billion? It could, if it captures mind share. And, if there is a big Bitcoin DeFi movement, which there very well could be this cycle, right? Then that's quite a move from where we are now. That's over 100x. Does it happen? I have zero idea. I have no idea if it happens. But I'm not freaked out. It sucks. It sucks to see the portfolio go down, but they're paper gains. Keep that in mind. They're paper gains. I'm much happier on green days. There's a pep in my step when my portfolio is up. But again, when they're green days, also remember what it feels like now. Because when the market, when your portfolio is up and you're feeling good and there's a pep in your step, remember how fast it can be taken away from you. And plan your exit strategy. And that's when you should be DCAing out. And so we'll see how it plays out on Mint Layer. Still bullish on it. Nothing has changed fundamentally. And I would be accumulating down here if I liked it. And that goes for any alt that you like. These are good prices. Many of them have lost support and are cheaper than they've been in the last 7 months. And so what is that? That's an opportunity to buy if your thesis is they are going way higher. If that's not your thesis, then don't buy, and maybe consider selling on a pump if you don't think things are going higher, right? And everyone has that right. OG Vault, what's good? Swamp Rat in the house. OG, what's good, brother? What's happening with Tectum? So Tectum has lost support also. $3.28. Fundamentals are there. There was a FUD storm around these guys, I think, in part due to I've covered this a bunch, horrible communication. And then there was talk of the team selling and dumping tokens and so keeping the price down. Keep in mind for utility tokens, okay? They're not like meme tokens. There is overhead. They're building stuff. They have to pay for things, offices, salaries. They don't have revenue. None, like very few of these projects have any revenue right now. And so where are they getting that money? They either raised it, did like a VC raise, or they're selling tokens. And they can sell, the market can absorb it when there's heavy volume, right? But if there's not, then you're talking about pushing the price down, and people will accuse them of selling a bunch of tokens. I've not looked at the blockchain data. In the Telegram, they recently, I think their new COO recently came out and showed what their transactions were, so that there was not heavy selling, and he explained what the movement of wallets were. And so, be the judge of that. Look into it, do your research, and determine what you think about the team. Right? There's been a lot of, the CEO got fired from Tectum. The community manager left. A TG mod left. So there's been a lot of shakeup, and that's freaked people out. The technology is still the same. The narrative is still the same. So it can still do really, really well. Right? And so $3, I think that's a good risk reward on Tectum. But somehow, psychologically, it's much harder to buy now, right? Because the fear takes over, and now you're being fed the bear case scenario. If it went to $40, everyone would forget that in a heartbeat. And that goes for any coin, right? When the violent move is up, people forget the bear case narrative, and now it's full-on euphoria. And I wish I bought more. I think ML could drop to 3 cents and then go parabolic. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that Mint Layer gets beaten down some more. There we go. Yeah, there you go. It's possible. I don't have this open on TradingView, but it's possible that mint layer, there's more suffering, but I'm not. Here's the thing. If you're deciding if you should be buying now or waiting because it can go lower, that's called being greedy to the downside, right? And manage your greed. One of the biggest thing that will trip people up in this game is greed. And that's a lot of people associate greed with not selling when you're up. There's also greed in not buying when something is down because you want lower prices. Sometimes there can be a sharp reversal, right? And maybe you don't get that price, but everyone gets the price they deserve. Going back to the charts, Bitcoin holding up over 104 still. ETH at 3,100. I wouldn't be shocked if, ETH grinds back up to 3,400. That's, over the next couple weeks and gets stuck there. It's kind of been where it gets stuck. Blanket Cat says TET and Mint Layer going to zero scams. 99% of company tokens use them. I don't think that. Wow, you're a bear, buddy. Blanket Cat's a bear. What effect do you think DeepSeek will have on the AI crypto market? I think short-term sell-off, long-term nothing. I see, Dabatola down here. What's good, brother? Everyone make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. DeepSeek, I don't think has any effect on the AI crypto market long term. I think we've gotten a big cool off and things are beaten down, and that provides opportunity for re-entry, because what happened was when virtuals exploded and the AI agent craze, when AI agents were all the rage, in January, the first couple weeks of January, everyone was chasing and wanting to jump on the bandwagon. And now, we've had a broader cool down, and you couple that with AI getting punished. And really all alts have been punished. All small caps have been punished. Do you think that AI agents are going to be a narrative? Do you think that AI is going to be the main narrative of this cycle? I do. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think, if anything, DeepSeek just creates more publicity. It gets it on the radar more. And so it's short-term bearish because it shook the market and made people question if NVIDIA was overvalued. But long-term, it's an indication that if that it was a breakthrough in technology, if that's true. And people are still going to need chips. And this space is still going to, we're going to be in an AI bubble. Okay? Make no mistake about it, that where a bubble is forming. And if you look at definition of a market bubble, there's a really good, I think it's here maybe. Let me see. No, well, I can't find it, but there's a good definition of a bubble, a market bubble. And it is, part of it is, it revolves around a new technology that is a paradigm shift. Okay? It's a paradigm shift. And that's what AI is. It's a paradigm shift. We saw it around NFTs last cycle, paradigm shift. It's going to change everything. We saw it on the dot-com bubble. The internet's going to change everything. It's a paradigm shift. It causes hyper speculation and everyone to jump in and buy it up. Is AI going anywhere? No. The mind share will continue to grow. And so I think it will continue to be the number one narrative of this cycle. And I loaded up on some things to take advantage during this dip because I like, I didn't buy virtuals, but I like the infrastructure plays. I like Spectral. It's on base. It's beaten down. It's at a low in a year, right? This went all the way to $17, $18. This is backed by, go to the website. This is kind of like a pump fund AI agent generator. I want to see their partners. Go check out who their partners are. And I forget, it's like, I don't know if it's Samsung, but it's, oh, let's go to the bottom. Here we are. Is this it? Look at the partnerships. Samsung Next, Polychain Capital. There's a lot of big money behind this. These are all their partnerships. All right, it's on base. I liked it at $7. I like it more at $4.80. Top hat is something I talked about. It's completely beaten down. Up today, 39%, pretty good. This was down to 2 cents, and I bought a bunch at 2 cents. I liked it at 5 cents. So why wouldn't I like it at 2 cents? This is, top hat. If you believe that they're AI agents and are going to continue to play a major role in this cycle, and I do. Virtuals has produced the most. AI6 has produced second most. Top hat produced the third most. $26 million market cap. On Solana. All-time high of 10 cents. Okay. Beaten down. So, yeah. You got a super chat. Ah, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Cash Games, thank you very much for the super. And thanks to everyone for coming through. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Let me get back to the comments. Yeah, so no effect. I think long-term AI is here to stay and position accordingly. I mean, look, the nature of this space is things go up aggressively, things come down aggressively. If you know the rules of the game, then play the game accordingly. Right? I mean, this is what it is. I'm not going to get mad at, Russ and them as long as they do it in a way that is not dumpyage. People are going to take profits at some point. These guys are going to need to fund their project for the next 4 years if you go into a bear market and you have zero income, zero or low revenue for a lot of these projects. They're going to sell. So these are the rules of the game. This is a highly speculative, volatile space. And if you've been here, you know that things are going down 97% at some point. Now, you can say the space is criminal, and there are a lot of criminal aspects to the space. I don't think that's one of them. Cash Game says, someone bought on top. Ron in the house. What's good, brother? Follow Ron. I had a great stream yesterday. Join Ron's crypto therapy group. It's $325 for the year. And it's a very, very good investment. You get tons of TA in there. A lot of information when to buy, and more importantly, for this year, when to sell. Where that's $325 for the year. I'm in there as well as a bunch of people. I think that Debbie's advanced tech potential combined with a bombshell partnership can make it this cycle Solana. I don't think it goes to Solana levels. Because that's like that's like one coin a cycle. And so I'm not baking into my expectation to be the one. And if you go back to last cycle, Solana had Sam Bankman-Fried behind it, FTX behind it, big VC institution, VCs were buying the shit out of this. It went from $2 in December. And if you look at where was Solana at this point in the cycle, last cycle, it was about $3. Keep that in mind. Where we are now, people are freaking out that their bags haven't exploded. Solana was $3 last January 21st of 2021, not last. All right, go back to last cycle. Solana was $3. Devi, but it had Sam Bankman-Fried, who was perhaps the biggest figure, the most central figure in crypto last cycle. Hard to say that anything will be like that and perform like that from here to the end of the cycle, including Devi, which I absolutely love. I think that Devi can put in huge moves from here. I think it will be a winner. $126 million market cap. I added more. I had a big bag of Devi. I added more at $1.25 to $1.30 because I'll buy it. I'll average up if I think that something's going to $5 billion. If I think something can go to $5 billion, I'll average up. A lot of people won't average up because psychologically they bought lower. But it's like, when Solana was at $8 and I bought it, it was at $13, and went to $25, I bought some more. Because my thesis was it was going to all-time highs and beyond. So I'm not getting the best spread on it, but it was still great risk reward. Devi, in my opinion, is great risk reward because my thesis is going to go to billions. And I think it's gotten some confirmation from the market. Look at the chart. Look at the chart. I think it's, on the next breakout, it's breaking past all-time highs of $2. And I think there's going to come a time when Devi moves up by the dollar a day. Right now, and with a lot of our coins, things are moving up by pennies. Think about when what you hold goes up by $1 a day. Or if it's something smaller, where it has more tokens in its circulation, like Metacade. Think about if Metacade goes up 10 cents in a day or 5 cents in a day. Those days will come when the market is on fire. But if it is NASDAQ, and maybe we're closer to an announcement because, and I know that Austin said that it's the partner that's going to announce, not Devi. If it's NASDAQ, really anyone that's, I don't want to bake NASDAQ into my expectation either, but, I can see it going to $5 rather quickly, breaking past all-time high, $3-4. And then you're talking about a $300-400 million market cap. Blanket Cat says, not going to happen. I hate everything. I'll be a slave forever. What a bear. Do you think DeepSeek will have positive, negative? Oh, we already answered this, right? Yeah. On certain coins. Is this the same question, brother? Yeah, a little. No, I don't think it's going to have an effect on certain coins. Yeah. Dr. Profit's 3 biggest alt holdings are ETH, XRP, and Ondo. Yeah. Those are, and those have, not ETH, but XRP surprised me a bit. I was talking to someone yesterday, and he was talking about XRP going to bigger market cap than I thought possible. Sounding a little delusional, but who knows? $200 billion market cap on XRP. A lot of people think this is going to, higher than $10 this cycle. We'll see if all banks adopt it and the bull case plays out for XRP. But it's been a winner. There's no doubt about it. It's been a big winner from 50 cents, 8x. All right, but in alt season, you're going to get a lot of winners. All right, so can't catch them all, and don't think, don't feel like you're sidelined. Ondo is a real world asset play. American, it's got the American made thing, and I think it's in Trump's portfolio. It's performed very well, 5x this year, really strong. All right, but these bigger caps are going to move first. He's at a $5 billion market cap almost, and then when alt season kicks in, you'll get things like Rio and like Mint Layer and things like that make their moves. So I think we'll get a decent pullback before going up. It's impossible to say. I'm going to say that we're going to be range bound some more and maybe fall out of it if something bad happens. But I think that on alts, I think that they're oversold in my opinion. I don't think we're going to get a major pullback. But my name is Danny the Bull, so I'm very bullish. Why are they calling it V2? Also price target. So are you referring to? So it's V2 just for a new look, right? So this is kind of like an upgraded, it just means that it's an upgraded look. In terms of price targets, again, I don't make price targets, but I want to talk about base meme coins also, because I said I would. That's not it. Give me a second. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mean, I think the 26 cents, $500 million market cap is very achievable. I think higher than that is also very achievable, like 40 cents. So if we get a nice gaming run, I think it can get in here. I think it can get, it's possible that it hits $1 billion. I don't think it'll be easy to hit $1 billion. I don't think it's inevitable. My mind is open to the idea. This gets really hard, but it's like within the realm of possibility. But I think it's, as likely as like 150 million, right? So I look at it like as a bell curve, right? It's possible that it underperforms somehow. But this would be like a bear case. This would be like a really bear case scenario if it only did that's basically a 3x from where we were last week. It's possible. This is possible. I don't think very likely that either of those play out. So I would look more into this mid-range for Metacade. With I have no idea where it falls. But that's kind of how my mind works around when I think about price action. It's always possible that you were wrong, right? But I think that it's small possibility. It's also a small possibility that it goes higher than you thought, right? So usually we'll see. Sometimes base case plays out. Thoughts on AI agents? Yeah, I think it will absolutely return, because I think AI agents, if you look at the NVIDIA keynote, wherever that was, I think it was in Vegas when the NVIDIA CEO was talking about AI. He was talking about AI agents being a $1 trillion industry. People can't wrap their mind around how this is going to reshape society and technology. AI agents are going to be everywhere. And when they work together, it's called a swarm. I would not buy individual AI agents myself because there are so many of them. but I do like the infrastructure plays that produce them. And I view AI agent, anyone can create an AI agent in crypto. Most of them are going to, they're like meme coins. And the platforms are acting like pump fun. So if you go to Top Hat, let's do that. You know what? Let me go to the site. Oh, wait. My bad. Just to show you what they are, or, you know, how this works. This is Top Hat. It's basically like a pump fun for AI agents, where you can create your own AI agent with commands. It'll be done in 3 minutes. It'll create it for you. You use Top Hat. You can use Solana to pay for it, or you can use Top Hat and the token and get a 25% discount. All right, and then they're like meme coins. Colin is a swarm of agents, and it's the most successful that's been produced by Top Hat. $16 million market cap. And then you got this one's a $5 million market cap. These are the top 10. All right, but it's important to look at how the infrastructure plays, what they're producing, how they're performing. Because if they're producing a lot of agents, that means a lot of people are using the platform. There's a lot of activity over there. And then if something pops off and gets to a high market cap, that bodes well for the token, right? So fundamentally, the token's getting used. And then in terms of valuation, people value it a certain way. Yeah. And these are like the analytics of Top Hat. So you see agents are still being created. It's gone down a bit since the peak over here, and the market's gotten quieter, but these are the active users still holding a good number. So I think that AI agents are going to continue to do well. Val in the house, what's good, brother? Dino Dragon, appreciate you, brother. Do you think it's 4 or 6 weeks or what? I think alt season could go 12 weeks. I mean, typically when there's alt season, it's important to understand what alt season means. It means that 75 of the top 100 coins are outperforming Bitcoin. When that happens, we're in alt season. Okay? Things could still run up. Right now, we're at 47. That means that 47 of the top 100 coins are outperforming Bitcoin. You can still be on an uptrend, and alts can still, like, you know, move up in price. But alt season is really that mania phase that, you know, when the biggest gains are made. And so that typically lasts, that mania phase typically lasts 12 weeks. It's impossible to know, you know, how long something, an individual asset will run for. It could be, you know, you're talking about different sectors run at different times, right? So if gaming is running and how Metacade fits into that. So it's impossible to know how long something runs for, right? And again, I've shown in, let me just pull up. Give me a second. Here it is. All right. Just like as examples, this is just like a random shitcoin I picked. In the 2017 cycle, it did a 4x between like February through mid-May, right? It did a 4x, and then it doubled up, right? So it did an 8x over time, 8x over 18 weeks. So when alts start heating up, you know, things could start moving up before alt season, right? And there is no like time frame or secret recipe for how long things run. We are talking an MK bounce like mad. Let's pull it up. Let's go. Look at that. Someone's buying that dip. It's getting back up to 2 cents. Nice. Bitcoin's dipped a bit. Still in its range. Yeah, Rio is a good price. Rio went down to 58 cents or something recently. Good price on Rio. I added some a couple weeks ago. So now it's back up to 61 cents. Saw a little bit of a recovery. The market was did a sell-off, I think, before Jerome Powell spoke. I think we trend up a little bit, but we'll see. Yeah, Devi's on fire. And now think about how that works in your brain when Metacade pumps or anything pumps, right? It's the bullish, that bullish narrative hits again. So this is great to see. Pushing back to 2 cents here. Love it. I'd wanted to talk about base meme coins because I think you're going to see a lot more things listed on Coinbase in the next 6 months. They recently listed Toshi. Look at the chart. Exploded. There's been a lot of people upset at Coinbase because they listed Toshi, they listed VVV, which I think that's an AI. Here it is, Venice token. A lot of people were pissed off that they didn't list virtuals, they didn't list Brett. I do think, Brian Armstrong said that they're gonna revamp what they list, how they list, what their parameters are. They're going to communicate better on their listing process. I think with regulatory clarity, you're going to get many more coins listed by Coinbase. And I think as more meme coins are successful on Base, you're going to see some of the small caps do well. And one of those is hopefully Chuck, which many of us are in. Let me zoom this. There's Chuck. But if you look at some of these, they go up fast, right? Brett's been the king of the base meme space. And if this gets listed on Coinbase, which I would think that it will, unless there's something that they know about bundled supply or something like that that's keeping them back. I expect Brett to go to 5 billion with haste very quickly. Toshi just did almost a 10x. I don't know if it touched 1 billion. Did it? Went to 002. So it almost hit $1 billion in market cap. Ski Mask Dog hit an all-time high of 300 million. But you have a bunch of small caps down here that if there is a strong alt season and then a base season specifically, if ETH pumps, then all of these are tied to ETH. And these big ones go to billions. Let's say these top 4 or whatever, or top 5, I think Miggles will get listed on Coinbase. I think Miggles will get listed on Coinbase and go to billions. If these top 5, go to billions, and we're in the middle of alt season, I think we're going to see rotation into a bunch of these smaller ones, including Chuck. All right, in full disclosure, I am on the socials of Chuck. I speak from the space, but we're seeing hints of a base meme season and what that could look like. We've talked about that for months, and I think it's a matter of time. And I think a bunch of these coins are going to do very well. Some of them are very beaten down. Boomer was at a $40 million market cap. Carlo was at a $30 million market cap. It went to $500,000. So there's that. Keep sitting on my bag. Yes, sir. Well, I've been on for over an hour now. Let me know if you got any other. Let me check my bookmarks here. See if there's anything else that I missed. This is interesting. We talk about how this looks like the 2017 cycle. Look at this cycle. Look at Bitcoin this cycle overlaid on the 2017 cycle. Bitcoin's in black. It is nearly identical, right? And so, again, if your long-term thesis is that Bitcoin's going to continue going up and we're going to see higher prices on Bitcoin and that we're in a macro bull run, I wouldn't be worried about alts. I would tune out the noise of alt season being canceled because that's what that is, noise. A lot of it is clickbait. A lot of it is anxiety and fear. And my thesis is we go higher, just a matter of when. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.